I really want to make one of those mobile games that are just like overstimulating and overly vibrant and really addictive and just like total garbage. Oh, but that sounds terrible. Why would you want to make that? Well, okay, here's a life lesson, alright? Sometimes actually putting effort into things means your target audience isn't going to want to spend all their parents' money on microtransactions. So that's the plan. I want to make my own cash grab mobile game. Also, it's taking me far too long to upload, which is why I want to get at least the very basics of this game done in like one day. So let's get to work. Now, after doing like a bunch of research,
excellent.
I'm pretty sure I know pretty much everything it takes to make a highly addictive mobile game. Now, for one, the controls have to be stupidly easy, to the point where like a newborn could figure it out. Also, the gameplay has to be entertaining even if you're not the one playing, and it has to be like constantly moving. So that way you could have like Joe Rogan speaking over the top and people aren't going to get bored. And I also think that the game should be endless, because then I don't have to make levels, and also because kind of like in Subway Surfers, I feel like the player is more likely to waste a bunch of time on the game if they can just play infinitely. Okay, so here's the idea. So basically there's this road in the sky and you play as this car. Now you can hold down on the screen to move left and right, but you're constantly driving forward, speeding up. And then there's just going to be like obstacles and coins and just like a bunch of other crap coming at you. Basically I'm just totally stealing this idea from this other video I made, but last time I didn't really know what I was doing and I never actually got the game onto my phone. So now, since I definitely do know what I'm doing, I'm going to remake and expand the idea, and the game is going to be really good and I'm going to make a bunch of money. Cash grab mobile game. Create. Okay, so now as you can see, I've got the player's car. For now it is just a blue cube and you can't actually move. So to do that, I have to get the touch input working, which I basically did by storing the player's touch position on the screen when they first hold down, subtracting that value from the current touch position, and then dividing the whole thing by half of the player's viewport size to get a range of numbers centered on the initial. Yeah, anyway, now there's some really janky movement. So let's polish it up a bit. Also, another thing I want to change is right now the game isn't actually in portrait mode. So let's fix that as well. Okay, yeah, this already looks a lot better. As you can see now, I can move from left to right depending on where I hold down on the screen. And now you can see what it might look like on a proper road. Only problem is this road isn't exactly endless, so I'm probably going to get to work on that. And boom, we've got endless roads now. And this is actually kind of cool because as you can see, the player isn't actually moving, only the roads are. So it actually just creates the illusion that you're driving forwards. Now this is something I didn't do in my previous attempt, but creating the game this way is supposed to be a lot better for performance, I think. Okay, so that's great, but there's still nothing to stop you from just driving endlessly, which is why I want to start talking about obstacles. Now, I know I did a very brief explanation about what I want the game to be like at the start, but basically I want this road to be just full of like a bunch of random and very different obstacles. And since I'm already spawning the road in sections, I've been planning out some different road sections that I think will probably make the game a lot more fun. So firstly, there's obviously this traffic section, which just has a bunch of cars on it that you have to avoid, which is what my whole other game was like, and that'll probably be the most common section. But what if there was like some different stuff, like a road section full of landmines? And obviously if you hit them, you just get blown into the sky. Or here, what if there's like an obstacle coming from the side, like let's say a massive boulder? Or what if there was like a section with a zebra crossing and you have to like avoid the people crossing the road? You know, I suppose this probably wouldn't be so much of a fatal hazard. Could be something that might like weigh on the player's conscience, you know, if they accidentally ran over a small child. Oh yeah, and then I had this idea of like a jump ramp to get to the other side of the road. I think that would be pretty sick. This one is just like a tunnel. Here's like another obstacle. It's like a spinny thing. Oh, this is supposed to be a gorilla. I don't know, I just think it would be pretty funny to have like a massive escaped gorilla in the middle of the road, and he's like, you know, like swinging at you and you have to try and avoid him. Now, I don't know how far I'll get making all of these road sections in this video, so I'll probably have to start with just making a few very simple ones so that we can get an idea of how the game will actually play. Just kidding, I immediately started modeling a massive gorilla. At least kind of, because I quickly realized I don't really know how to 3D model, so for right now, the gorilla is also very blocky. Anyway, I then thought the gorilla should probably be able to move, so I went to Mixamo and gave him some really cool animations. And then it was time to actually start implementing stuff. Okay, so I've done some work and now there is 3 different obstacle sections. So firstly, there's this normal traffic bit. I also made this part with the spinny things and of course the gorilla. And as you can see, I also added some coins. Now I know it still looks very unpolished, like the animations on the gorilla are still pretty janky. I actually originally wanted to give him a jump attack, but it wasn't really working, so now he just tries to punch you. But apart from that, the game now actually does feel pretty playable. At least until you actually collide with anything, because right now you will literally just phase right through it. So let's make some satisfying collisions. Oh, did someone say we need satisfying collisions? Matter of fact, here's this engaging YouTube short I made about just that. Step 1, physics. Step 2, camera shake. And step 3, slow motion. And that's how to make satisfying collisions. Subscribe. Pretty cool, huh? Anyways, you know how I said I would get this game done in like a day? Yeah, that was 5 days ago. I don't really know what I was talking about before, but to be honest, right now the game still looks pretty bad, and there's still quite a lot of stuff I'm gonna have to do before I can actually build it onto my phone. So I've made a list of things that kind of suck right now. So number 1, I haven't actually bothered to make any UI. So there's no way to respawn if you crash. Like, if I put this on my phone now, you would have to close the app and reopen it every time you crash. I also don't like the fact that you can see the road sections spawning in front of you. So I definitely want to fix that. And I also don't think some of the colors are overly vibrant enough. And lastly, the car still doesn't have any rotation. It just looks really stationary when you move. So let's get all this done, and then I can finally build the game onto my phone. So I'm back, and we've now got a main menu and a restart page, which also allows you to see that I'm going to be calling the game Bad Road. Now, I think it perfectly sums up what the game is about, but you can let me know in the comments. I also added this cool, like, hand sliding animation at the bottom, which kind of shows you how to play. I also added this settings button. That one doesn't do anything yet, but now when I tap, I can start the game, and if I crash, you get the game over screen, and if I tap again, I'm back at the main menu. Pretty cool. But now the next thing I want to do is add a world curvature shader to the whole thing, so that way you won't be able to see the road section spawning in front of you anymore. Look at this, it's pretty trippy. But yeah, if I put it back to the normal values, then it should look something like this. Yeah, that looks heaps better. I don't know if you can tell, but I've also added some fog and made the sky a lot more vibrant, which I think will make the game a lot more engaging if you're like a 3-year-old. And now let's try to add some rotation to the car while you move. Okay, yeah, this looks a lot better. And I think even just adding rotation to the car already makes it a lot more satisfying to play. Okay, so I think it's finally time to actually build the game onto my phone. So we gotta plug this thing in. Alright. Okay, so I've done it. I've actually got the game onto my phone, and it is sort of playable. Actually, not really. The controls are really sensitive. And also, there's some other stuff I want to fix, like right now, the game isn't actually filling the full screen size. So I quickly went back and fixed all of that, and now the game looks like this. So yeah, I got the game onto my phone, and the controls are still a little bit janky, and I haven't done any optimization yet, so it can get a bit laggy, but these are all problems for another time. For now, I'm going to keep working on this, so stay tuned for my next video, and if you enjoyed this, please subscribe, because I'm trying to hit 100 million subscribers by the end of the year, so every bit counts. Okay, bye.